Well, a very good afternoon from a wet and windy Leitrim. Well, a little bit damp, more so than wet, I'd say, at this stage, just looking outside there. We're absolutely delighted today to be joined by Lesa Malone from Brady Management Global, and not, as I called her in the title, Brady Global Management. So we're going to chat all things business over the next half hour. So what I would say to you is, pull up a chair, grab a cup of coffee, sit back and enjoy a Lite Bite Lunch. Good afternoon. Yes, indeed, you have found the Lite Bite Lunch going out live and, of course, available on playback if you want to watch the show back afterwards. If you are watching the show on playback, please remember, don't comment, as we won't be able to read your comments out if it is on the playback version. But if you would like to comment during the show, we will certainly bring up as many comments as we can as we go along. So I'm delighted to introduce my guest today. It's Lesa Malone from Brady Management Global. So we'll start off, Lesa, maybe for those that don't know, you tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh God. So I have been doing everything related to tax and payroll and bookkeeping for over 20 years now. I actually first started back in 1991, I think, when my husband became self-employed and started learning everything about that side of the business. I've been working since then for other people and then myself since going back as far as 2006. So that's about me business-wise. Me personally, I'm married a long time, 35 years this year. I've got 4 grown-up children and I have 2 grandchildren. So they're all flown the nest. So coping with empty nest syndrome at the moment at home.
So yeah, so you've certainly got, but again, I know you spend a lot of time looking after the grandkids as well. So
oh yeah, it's such a nice day. I mind them on Wednesday, and I get to enjoy every minute of it. We have so much fun. It's really nice time. Yeah,
absolutely. So you have quite a background in terms of business and whatnot. You were doing a lot of corporate stuff before your husband went self-employed, weren't you?
Yeah, look, as I said, I've a range of about 20 years at this stage, and I do a lot of different things. I mentor startup businesses. I do workshops around bookkeeping, taxation, filing your Form 11. I do payroll. I'm qualified in all of those. Got all the qualifications over the years, self-taught most of it. And look, I'm just one of those people that I like to do what I'm doing really well to a high standard. So I like to get the qualification, like to get the information, do the research, and always keep abreast of what's going on in those areas. So if there's changes to legislation and stuff like that. So,
and I think that's one of the things that so many people don't realize, that with things like the Finance Act, while you may sit down, you may watch everything that happens on the budget and think, oh yeah, grand, I've got a good handle on it. When you actually sit down and dig deeper into the Finance Act, it can be an absolute minefield, and there can be so many contradictions and interpretations that you really do. It's so important to have somebody who does understand that and who understands the needs of the business as much as understanding the legislation.
Yeah, and the thing about the Finance Act and the budget as well. And we find this kind of every year, a lot of the major things are announced in the budget. So, that's going to affect every day. But there's a lot of things that aren't announced. And then they come in January and you only discover that, or a business only discovers that this happened and it affects them. So, yeah, look, it's like anything, it's a law. So they're open to interpretation and everybody will interpret that differently. But I think for most of our clients, our businesses, they need to understand these things in just basic, simple language. So it is put out very, very complexly, and they are very complex, but it's nice to have someone who'll just say, look, that just means that this is what you should be doing, or that's what you should be doing, and just to have it in those simple terms.
Absolutely. And simple, plain English is what so many small businesses need, because
Yeah.
they understand the industry they're in, but they don't understand necessarily how to perfect the finances side of it.
Yeah, well, look, most people go into business because they're really good at what they do. So they're a good artist or a good plumber or a good whatever. And then they discover that there's a whole other side to the business that they need to learn. There's lots of other sides to the business that they need to learn. As a small sole trader starting out, we all know you're wearing a lot of caps, so you're doing all those jobs yourself. But the finances in particular seems to cause so much stress and hassle to people, and it's a job that they just don't like doing. They hate it. Most people I meet say to me, oh my God, how do you do what you do? It's my worst nightmare.
Yes.
And I'll have scenarios where things are our worst nightmare. And when you feel that, you avoid it, you don't want to know it, you don't want to get to know it. I think at Brady Management, we're trying to change that perception a little bit, where we are saying to businesses and sole traders starting out, look, it is manageable if you do put a bit of time in, learn a little bit about it, you can get a handle on it, and you can get on top of it. And it's also really, really important that someone running a business does understand that side of the business, because the nature of it is that we're going to outsource things that we don't know how to do. And whether you employ a staff member, whether you outsource to a bookkeeper or you're outsourcing to an accountant, ultimately the responsibility comes back on you to ensure things are done correctly. So if there's an issue with your revenue or anything like that, they're going to come back to the owner of the business, even though you've outsourced or employed somebody else. So what we always say is, don't give over full control to an accountant or a bookkeeper without having a good handle on it yourself first, because then you can ensure that the bookkeeper is doing it correctly, the accountant's doing what they're supposed to be doing, your returns are filed on time, that you're not missing deadlines, and all those things are being done correctly. And you can't follow up on that unless you really understand it yourself.
Yeah, no, 100% agree with you. And it's, as I always tell people, you should never be signing your Form 11 until you understand every single line that is in that and what you are signing up to.
Yeah. And look, like I said, it is one of those things that people are afraid of. In Ireland, we have this terrible fear of revenue. People mention revenue and everybody runs for the hills.
Yes.
They are very, very customer friendly at the moment, or they are there to help. You can contact them, you can ring them up. But it is, like you said, a good idea. And like your Form 11 for a startup business or a sole trader, when you're filling that in, it can be complicated enough. But the issue is, like you said, at the end, when it does a calculation and comes up with a figure that you're due to pay for your taxes, there's not much point in looking at that and saying, oh, well, it must be okay, because you can put things incorrectly into the form.
Yeah.
You can put information in the wrong place. So, as you said, if you've done things correctly. And another thing I always preach to my clients, and particularly when I'm doing those workshops for the startup businesses in conjunction with the partnerships, is I always tell them, when you're filling in the form, before you sit down to fill it in, you should have a good idea of the figure that you expect to come up in that form. So how much will I owe for tax? How much will I owe for PSI? How much will I owe for USC? And then when the form does come up with that calculation and it matches the figure that you had in your head previously, then well, I've actually put everything in where it should be, and it's done the calculation, and I'm happy that figure now matches what I already had in my head. So yeah,
Absolutely.
it's really important.
Absolutely. Now, listen, one question that everyone coming on the show gets asked is, for you, what is the ideal Lite Bite lunch?
But for me, I like to try and bring in maybe some leftovers from yesterday's dinners, particularly say like a pasta or something like that that's handy to heat up. I find if I don't do that, I end up eating very unhealthily. And to be honest, our team here is all women, so we're always kind of on the healthy buzz. We try and keep the chocolate and the cakes out here. Now that's not to say when we have a birthday or a celebration, we do celebrate and we end up eating cake, but we'd be counting the calories, that's for sure, Rory.
Ah,
So we all try and eat healthy, and we do give each other tips about, this is really good, or try this or try that. So
yeah,
we do try and have the healthy lunch.
that's good. That's good. Now, you're a finalist this year in the Micro Business Awards,
Yeah,
which I was delighted to see because, as I said, I've known your business for a long, long time, and I was delighted to see the entry come in this year and see
yeah.
judges appreciate what it is you're doing. For you, as a small business owner, what does being a finalist mean?
Oh, look, even going ahead and putting myself up for the award is definitely unusual for me, because I kind of hide in the background and stay in the background. I'm not really good at putting myself front and center. But, we are a business 8 years, and unfortunately, a lot of us don't really celebrate our achievements. And, putting yourself forward for the award, part of that is saying, well, look, we must be doing something right. We're here 8 years later. We've grown. We've employed people, and it is about celebrating. More, I suppose, what makes it more special as well. It's about my team as well. At the end of the day, everyone here gives 110% of the clients. We go above and beyond. We're invested in their business, so it's about celebrating that. Um, and to be selected was really a surprise. Absolutely. I did put myself forward, and I was delighted to be selected. I'm looking forward to celebrating at the award ceremony with my team, and that's whether we win or lose. It's like I said, it's nice to actually celebrate your achievements.
And as I tell people, just to make it to the stage of finalist, given the volume of entries we have coming in now, like this is the 9th year the awards have been running. And when I look back on the early years and praying with 2 weeks to go, if we're looking at categories, it's like, are any entries going to come in at all in that category?
Yeah.
And I look now and I'm looking at the lists and I'm seeing 25, 30 entries in each individual category. And I'm kind of saying to myself, like, how am I going to pass this to judges? And are the judges going to end up saying to me, oh, to hell with this? It's just got
Too many, too hard. Yeah. Yeah. And look, like you said, it's an achievement just to even be in the finalists, because you've already been up against a number of businesses in the same category as you. Yeah.
And of course, there's the fact that at the finals itself, it's a good night out, it's great networking, but it's also very, very relaxed. And the amount of support, when you take a bundle of micro business owners and you put them into a room together, there is no talk about, oh, well, you're my competition or you're this, that, the other. We are all there as micro businesses. We are all there supporting each other as micro businesses, and we all believe in each other as micro businesses.
Yeah, because we've all been through the same struggles, and I think there's a bit of a perception, because we're a finance business, that we wouldn't have trouble with finances, but we're actually a startup business the same as everybody else. So we have the same struggles. We all have the same struggles. And like you said, what's lovely in a room full of businesses like that is that everybody's willing to share their knowledge, share their experience, and it's not about being in competition. So that's a lovely atmosphere to have.
Yeah, absolutely. And while we're on the subject of the awards, I'll just make mention of this. For anyone who hasn't yet booked their tickets for the Micro Business Awards, now is the ideal time to do so. All you need to do is go to your email microbusinessawards@gmail.com. put the subject as tickets, and if you let us know then how many tickets it is you're looking for, your invoice comes back out to you, normally within 24 hours. There's a payment link on it that you can click on it. You can pay it by electronic transfer, you can pay it by card, it's entirely up to you. And then you'll get your confirmation email back afterwards once the payment has come in, confirming that your seats are reserved for you. Of course, on the night you can bring your pull-up banners and promote your business that way. There's a nice relaxed evening. You have pre-dinner drinks with networking. You then have the lovely gala dinner. Following on from the dinner, you get to enjoy the awards. And then we go down to the bar and relax for the evening. There'll be a little bit more networking, and there's a lot of nice enjoying yourself and getting the very best out of being a micro business. And again, the other thing, getting to meet other businesses so you understand you're not alone and there is a community of you there. And you can actually build fabulous partnerships also. So if you'd like to book your tickets, now's the time to do so. You can also remember that the People's Choice nominations are still open. They'll remain open till the end of August. If you want to vote on the People's Choice, you go to irishmicrobusinessawards.ie/enter. Scroll down to the entry form and fill it in with the name of the business, your email address, not the business email address, because it is limited to one entry per email per day. And just tell us very briefly why they should win that award. And that entry will then be added to the list. And if that one is a straight first past the post, whoever has the most votes will be declared the winner of the People's Choice. And as I said, it's a fabulous night out. Lesa will be there, I'll be there, Cheryl, who works away in the background here, will be there, and there'll be a lot of other very good businesses there too, so we hope we'll see you there. Now, one of the items that I know you're very much an advocate for is that from the time people are in school, they should actually be taught how to read pay slips, how to understand the Form 11, etc. How is your campaign on that going?
Well, look, my opinion is that people or young people are in school now, they're leaving school, but they, understanding your pay slip, understanding a little bit about taxes, starting your first job, how do you register that with revenue? How do you get your credits and your cutoff points? How do you know they're correct? And an awful lot of school leavers are leaving school and they've absolutely no idea. And look, that side of things is not just down to school leavers. There's 50-year-old people out there who are working, they get a pay slip every week. And if it says a certain amount of money every week, great, that looks okay. Then a week comes where there's money missing or the wages have gone down and they've no idea why that's happened. So I'm really passionate about, I think children or students leaving school should be given that sort of education so that when they go into the world of work, they have a good idea about where to go to get the information, what they should be looking for, what they should be supplying to their employer. And, going back before the GDPR regulations, your employer could help a person starting work and ring up revenue and say, look, what's their credits and cutoff points? Because of GDPR now, the only person who could deal with revenue is the person themselves. So unfortunately, unless they have the knowledge and the language to speak to revenue and ask the right questions, then they're not going to know what they need to know for their pay slip or their taxes or their work. So I'm developing a program that I'm hoping to get into schools for transition year, particularly because they have the budget, and not the budget, but they have the time to offer those type of courses, and they are really, really practical life skills that are needed for those students going out into the world of work. And the other side of things nowadays is an awful lot of that generation don't particularly want to go into the typical 9-to-5 job. They all want to run their own business. They might want to do something on social media or become a blogger or an influencer. And all of those are an entrepreneurial journey where they're self-employed. So they do need to understand the self-employed tax side of things. Excuse me. So I think that's a really good place to start with the education. And also, if they're leaving school with that sort of education, they can pass it on to the older generation who don't know a lot about these things.
Absolutely. Now, we do have a comment in there from Monique. Monique is saying, a bad accountant and bookkeeper are the kiss of death for a business, and a good accountant and bookkeeper who unequivocally on your side and on the lookout on your behalf are an indispensable lifeline and key to success. I'm talking from experience. Well done to your guest on being a finalist in the Micro Business Awards.
Yeah, that's an absolutely lovely comment, and she's dead right. Yeah, because long time ago, going back to a typical accountant, we all had this image of an older man, and look, accountants do one job, which is to look after the tax side of your business, and make savings for you in the areas of tax. But unfortunately, for a lot of accountants, they're looking at things once a year when they're sitting down to do your tax return and look at your taxes and stuff like that. Now, we are moving on from that, and there's an awful lot of accountants nowadays who are more open to having conversations in real time. But you need a good bookkeeper or an accountant who is doing things in real time. And if you do things in real time, it allows you to forward plan, allows you to plan for the future. And as that Monique said there, your bookkeeper or your accountant should be suggesting things to you like, there's a new grant available, or there's new legislation, or there's credits here that you might be entitled to and that you can claim. And that would absolutely make a massive difference to a business.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, a lot of people don't actually understand the importance that micro businesses play to Ireland. Like, I mean, for example, I heard a statistic yesterday that 40% of the corporation tax that's collected comes from, I think it's 7 companies in Ireland. But yet, when you look at the input of micro businesses, they, I think somebody said to me that it was close to 60% of income tax is actually from self-employed people, not PAYE employees.
Yeah. Well, look, I suppose micro businesses are the lifeblood of a community. And there is so many bigger businesses out there now where people are going to them because they're easier and they're more accessible. But you really should be supporting local businesses in your own area, because and those smaller businesses are growing, they are creating employment, they are giving jobs, and the money is going back into the local community. So absolutely, yeah, they are really important.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Monique just came back there to say that she absolutely loves the idea of the physical skills being taught at school level. I think it is so important.
Yeah, it's really, and look, since the introduction of PAYE modernisation, there's been a lot of changes to payroll, to taxes, to how you register your job, to avoid, and a lot of situations where younger people, because they don't know this stuff, are being emergency taxed. So half their wages are being kept on them. And look, the sooner you can get out of that situation when you start work, the better. At the end of the day, someone starting a job wants all their income in their pocket. So knowing how to speak to revenue and have the language to use when you're talking to them and say, look, I need this sorted, or I need that sorted, or there's a problem with my credits, or it could be because of this, that, or the other. So if you have that language and those skills to talk to revenue, it's going to make things, expedite things, and make sure that you are on emergency tax for the shortest amount of time so you can get the problem solved.
No, absolutely agree with you. Well, I'm just watching the time. I'm anxious. The time is actually running away on us here. Tell me, if you weren't doing this, what would you be doing?
That's a good question. I've always loved the idea of flipping houses, I suppose. So I have a keen eye for a bit of interior design. So I'd love if I had, lots of money and lots of time, I suppose, I'd probably buy houses and do them up, and, if they were in
Sell them on.
yeah, do them up and sell them on. Exactly. So
Very good. And what's next for you? What's anything special on the horizon? As I said, I know you're working on your cars for the schools. Anything else?
Well, look, originally I tell people that I'm an accidental business woman, a business owner, and because we originally started our business in America. We have a sister in America who does the same thing. I'm in the business with my sister Nora here, and originally we started working on American clients. We did that for a long time, and then we built the business really here. So we are looking to get back into America. Nora's daughters are out in New York at the moment, so we're hoping to get back out there this year and maybe think about setting up a business and working with Americans again. It's normally Irish Americans. The financial side of business is a lot about trust as well. And the Irish American side like the idea of having an Irish person working on their books because there's a trust and a relationship there. So, yeah, so
we've another comment there for you.
Plans.
Sive Smith is saying, well done, Lesa.
That's lovely. Thanks, Sive.
Right. Now, what is the best way for people to contact you if they want to get in touch? We do have your website going across the screen there at the moment.
Yeah, my website does have a calendar and a booking system on there, and there's a free consultation link there. And we give a free half-hour consultation. If anybody wants to book in for that, they can. They can also email me at info@bradymgt.com. Email is probably the best. I get messages through WhatsApp and Messenger and things like that. I'm not very good at checking those, so probably email or the link on the website, Rory, is probably the best. And I am also on LinkedIn as Lesa Malone, and you can message me there directly as well.
Or, of course, they can come along to the
awards and meet me there.
Meet you there. No discussing business that night.
Yeah, they're not to ask me any tax questions on the award night, Rory.
No, that's purely a night to meet you. They can get a card off you and then schedule something.
Yeah.
Right,
absolutely.
Going forward.
Absolutely. And I look forward to meeting all the other businesses at the awards as well.
Absolutely. And as I said, it is a great night out, and we're looking forward to sitting down over a cup of coffee or maybe something a little bit stronger on the night.
Absolutely.
We'll see.
Absolutely.
Well, unfortunately, we have time has run away on us, and we've run out of time. So thank you so much for your time coming on today. We will be back in 2 weeks' time with another guest. Off the top of my head, I think it's Aisling, the Candle Queen, we'll have joining us, but I'll have to check the calendar to double check that. And we'll have another half hour's chat, another cup of coffee, and we look forward to seeing you all then. Good afternoon.
Thanks for having me, Rory.